We're all just a kid from somewhere, right? At least that's what I've heard. And yet, why does it seem like if you come from a small town, it's harder to make it out? And sometimes you might just get trapped. Welcome to Just a Small Town Kid, a podcast that explores what it takes to be successful coming from a small town, particularly in the sport of wrestling. Let me introduce you to my hometown of New Kensington, Pennsylvania, 30 minutes north of Pittsburgh. I love my town, but all that glitters isn't gold. Like violence you can't control, such as a shooting near a playground. There's plenty of factors that can make you go down the wrong path. Remember how I said it can be a trap? Sometimes the only way to escape is sports. Resilience. That's the key to evading the trap and surviving the match. And we're talking about wrestling, not WWE, where you're jumping off the top rope, but the individual, one-on-one physical contact sport of wrestling. I'm your host, Auveonna Perkins, and you're probably wondering, why of all people I'm making a podcast about wrestling? Here's the truth. I never wrestled, but I've spent years going to matches, practices, and tournaments where my brothers were competing, and over time, you develop an understanding of the sport.
I'll just say wrestling is by far the most hardest sport I've done in my experience. So if you say wrestling is not hard, you haven't been pushing yourself hard enough.
Speaking of my brother, or at least one of them, that was him, Charles Perkins. And in this episode, we go through his journey and some of the struggles he's faced, both in the sport and coming from a small town, while knowing he's not the only one facing these challenges. We travel to New Kent, PA, diving into all of this and more. This is Just a Small Town Kid. Subscribe anywhere you can find podcasts with new episodes released every month.